take a look at a scenario. As you watch, think about what could have been done differently. This Puerto Rican man had neck surgery this morning. He has increasing, significant pain in his throat. But in his culture, it's very important for men not to show weakness in front of their family or others. He tries to deal with the pain on his own, but his family notices something is not right. He is sweating a great deal and is not able to hold a conversation for very long. The family keeps calling the nurse and telling her that something is wrong, but she has a very difficult time understanding their accent and just tells them it's normal not to be able to talk very much after neck surgery. Over the next several hours, the nurse gets frustrated with the family and waits longer and longer to respond to their non-stop paging. Later that night, in one of her rounds to assess the patient's vital signs, she notices his blood pressure is high and he's making raspy sounds when he breathes. Upon further examination, the staff notices swelling at the surgery site. The patient has a hematoma. The family had been correct that something indeed was wrong. The man is rushed back into surgery without much explanation. The family is scared and anxious. Using the basic steps of problem solving, let's see how this could have gone differently. By asking questions to gather information, the nurse could have worked with the family to get to the real issue. By doing so, the nurse would likely have found that the patient's symptoms were not normal, and she may even have been able to get the man to admit that he was feeling a lot of pain. The nurse had a hard time understanding what the family was trying to tell her. She also didn't know whether the family understood what she was saying. Most likely, getting a certified interpreter to aid communication would have helped the nurse get to the root of the problem a lot faster. The nurse could have explained the usual post-surgical symptoms of neck surgery to the family, preferably using an interpreter. The family would then have been able to inform her that the symptoms they were seeing were more extreme than the norm. The nurse became very frustrated with the family for calling her again and again. Her frustration led her to eventually ignore the family's concerns. She even took longer and longer to respond to their calls. Fortunately, the nurse noticed the patient's elevated blood pressure and the raspy noises he was making when breathing, and he was rushed back into surgery before he experienced severe or life-threatening complications. In this situation, the nurse could have reminded herself that the family's goal was not to make her life difficult. They were just very concerned about the well-being of their loved one. Being sensitive to patients' and families' concerns will help ease their confusion and fear. The nurse could have explained that the surgeon had been called and what the next steps were likely to be. By keeping the patient and family informed of what was going on, the nurse would have helped them stay calm. Problem solving works for all kinds of issues, from simple to complicated. Taking the time to problem solve early on will save you time and effort later, and will also help you give patients the quality of care they deserve.